I love Resident Evil Survivor.
Yes, it's time to wear my contrarian hat and annoy all the boo boys and girls who have crop dusted this nugget since the dawn of time. Okay, since the year 2000. Which... I mean, it might as well be a billion years ago. Anyway, before I go existential, Resident Evil Survivor was the first in a long and weird run of spin-offs of this series. And, okay, the game, quality-wise, is what it is. But that doesn't take away how oddly ahead Survivor was in terms of how the series would go, and we can rub ourselves raw with those nerdy deets later. But for now, I must shower you with the dry crap. I'm sorry. We start this dung landslide with a bloke hanging from a helicopter, which is a bombastic opener for sure. But as you can already guess, this isn't a Steven Seagal flick, and just like everything in life, gravity always wins. Anyway, this fracas causes the chopper to come crashing down, and we catch up with our avatar, who's crawling out of the burning wreckage. And now I'm gonna shut up so you can hear his Shakespearean delivery.
Where am I? Oh! I don't remember anything.
Who am I? What am I?
And after this stunning performance, we quickly find the body of the goof that was hanging from the chopper, who is holding a set of dog tags with the name Ark Thompson in his cold dead fingers. But sadly for our lad, he has a convenient case of Amnesia the Dark Descent, and has no idea who the balls that is. And in this brain damage lamentation, he is rudely interrupted by a shambling corpse, which he guns down with ease. And can you tell that our lead is American? Or Canadian? Possibly British? Yeah, I'm not sure, he has a weird accent. And speaking of gun enthusiasts, look, I try to make a smooth transition here. Resident Evil Survivor is a first-person shooter. Kind of. Okay, it's basically an on-rails light gun game without the rail, and in some territories you could play this game with a slab of light blasting plastic, and while it's a bit goofy to control this game using just a light gun, this is a cool twist to a genre that, while fun, can feel disposable. So for clarity, I'm playing this with a controller, and I hope you enjoyed that shot of nostalgia. And to cut to the chase, this nugget controls like any other RE game so far, which is funny as this isn't Shell Shock on a Sega Saturn, but in first person, the tank controls work pretty well. And I will admit, I had to fight a couple of decades of muscle memory to rewire my brain to not instinctually tickle the analogs to circle strafe like John Halo, but for what it is, it's using its clunkiness of the perspective and control style to make you feel slightly on edge. Like every time I entered the room and I heard that weird wet zombie sound, I was already scanning the room trying to take them down. And it did lead to some really fun scares, unless you get grabbed from behind, as the game breaks the eyeline rule of first-person shooters, where they spawn in your blind spots with no way of reacting in time, which does feel cheap. Tangent aside, our lad has to blast through this creepy island to find out why it's full of brain eaters and to find out who he is. But forget all that, because the exposition fairy is going to ring this random payphone to drop a ton of narrative slop in your lugs like moldy potato salad.
Vincent!
Who is this? Vincent? Who's that? Wait. Am I Vincent?
Vincent, you are a murderer. A murderer!
A murderer? What are you talking about? Answer me! Who did I kill?
And I assume the writer of this dialogue went to the Garth Marenghi School of Script Writing. And a quick scan of the credits of this game, because this is clearly not made by Capcom, it turns out that the names listed here are all pseudonyms. And while flicking through Alex O'Neill's Itchy Tasty, an unofficial history of Resident Evil, confirmed that this spin-off was made by Tose Software, which since the 80s have developed or co-developed thousands of games and specialise in helping big studios bring their games to smaller platforms. Actually, this now dubbed AA structure of production was a large part of the Japanese games industry, and for my particular kink, a ton of games that came from these factories formulated my tastes, and a ton of licensed stuff, like Resident Evil, was made in this space, and I would love to gush about that shit sometime, but sadly, I feel the call to explain this mess. Yes, Vincent, who we apparently inhabit, is a bit of a c***, who allegedly ruled this island, owned by Umbrella, with such a tight grip, it makes a certain orange fascist look like a Sunday League sports ball manager. And I found this quite interesting, as we see our boy struggling with this notion that he may have been the one who caused this cock-up, and perhaps if you can work out his past, then maybe this head knock could be a way to redeem himself. Which, as you can see, is far more nuanced than the previous entries, and while I'm making it sound like some kind of psychological horror thing, we are slapped awake by the PNC voice acting, which sounds like a bunch of text-to-speech prompts having awkward phone sex.
No, this is me. I am Vincent. It was all my fault. Who are you?
Wait. Please don't kill me. I didn't know anything about you then.
Stop.
And to further add to this jankrish, in Japan, this game is known as Gun Survivor, which... what? Are you a survivor of guns, or are you using guns for survival? Are you shooting yourself in a gob for subsistence, or are you fighting off sentient guns from shooting you? Also, did you know my favourite colour is blue? Alright, that's enough of these endless hack jokes, which is funny, as the amount of ammo you get for your sidearms is bottomless as well, which at first feels a bit odd, as you think this is a survival horror game, right? With limited resources and all that, but no. Okay, maybe yes? Okay, they balance this out by making your pistols fire gusts of air rather than high velocity shards of metal, but then this is a light gun shooter, so you would think having unlimited ammo would be a given, right? And then you can spice it up with special weapons like magnums and shotguns that have the limited amount of ammo, so you can use them in boss fights in moments of panic. But to undercut all that, there is a system where you collect multiple pistols that have their own unique traits, such as fast firing, or being able to hit things at long distance, or the last one being slow and powerful, which makes these special weapons feel, well, even less special. And after multiple playthroughs, because all your items persist, I had so much ammo for my special weapons that I just used them for the hell of it. Yeah, this whole system is kind of a mess. But while I was getting gangbanged by lickers because they move faster than me, and the weird controls are not equipped to deal with this pace, it dawned on me that Resident Evil Survivor is actually a dungeon crawler. And no, I'm not saying this to pander to Brendan from The Crawl. Okay, I am, witness me senpai, ooh woo. No, the slow deliberate movement, the weird and offbeat combat, in tight claustrophobic and cryptic levels, are all dungeon crawler traits. And when my brain latched onto this notion that this is a hybrid of Resident Evil and the House of the Dead through the filter of wizardry, what they are trying to do all became clear. And you're probably looking at this barrage of bollocks and wondering, hold up Scott, you have been talking shit about this game all video, so why do you love it so much? Well, for what it doesn't have in stuff I've already picked over, what Survivor has, over the Resident Evil games so far, is atmosphere. Not in a current gen gaming sense, and games like the original Silent Hill would eat this nugget for breakfast and dab its blood-stained lips with a damp copy of Overblood, but the way it strings its loose themes and levels together, to the point where I felt like Vincent, who is walking around this world in a dazed stupor, I kinda get what they were trying to go for. And then you get the jump scare that this island is of course another facility for Umbrella to do their inhumane experiments. And after being jumped by a gang of naked zombies, you find a note from a child prisoner. And to cut a bunch of grim shit into something coherent, these kids are being carted off to a nearby building to have hormones extracted from their brains, which is used to create tyrants, and we will get to that. And I'm not sure if this is intentional, but that is incredibly fucking dark, especially for a series that can be grim at times, but child murder is a layer of sleaze that took me by surprise. This makes Itchy Tasty sound like a craving for a packet of Wotsits, over a dysmism for human flesh. And while Survivor's overall story, just like the rest of the series so far, is more premise than plot, these parts in my 3 playthroughs of this game for this review stuck out to me. Accidental or not, it made my blood run cold. And... here we go again. Yes, as we are in the backyard, where these goofs are made, we get a fair share of Mr. X's clogging up the narrow halls, and my god, does each and every one of them grind this fucking game to a halt. Unlike the thoughtful placement of his lug in Resident Evil 2, here they just plug him in wherever the fuck they like, just to troll the player. And sure, he is just as immobile as before, so if you catch him at a distance, or glitching out on the scenery, you can plink him down with ease, but if he does get into haymaker range, expect to be hate crimes real quick. And this is where you can tell that the designers of Survivor were not as concerned with keeping in step with the other games. And yeah, it can be a drag to see this green-coated tit appear out of nowhere in every other fucking room, but these clever curveballs are relevant to the story, annoying as they are. And to blow the entire story, because spoilers are for pussies, our lead isn't Vincent. No, he is Ark Thompson, a secret agent hired by Leon to investigate this island, where he goes undercover as Vincent. And look, this exposition makes my head hurt, okay? It's blisteringly stupid, and even with its meatheadedness, I do appreciate the attempt to make it a mystery, as dumb as it is. And yeah, while the voice acting is terrible, the schlock does all come together in a entertaining way. But what carries it all is of course the gameplay, which does open up in ways that kept my ass glued to my seat. And that's the thing I'm still struggling to grasp. Why? I mean, there were straight up first person shooters out around the time, and that genre is on the verge of exploding in the new era, but why did this one become so resonant in my brain? Could it be just general obsessive neurodivergency, or was it because I generally love this nugget warts and all? Okay, it's both, and apologies for my essayist tone. And even now, after multiple playthroughs to collect all the weapons and go through the unique routes that send our hero to different parts of the island, as well as trying and failing to get the quickest run to unlock the rocket launcher, which might be the hardest special weapon to get in any Resident Evil game, I still want to play this again. Yes, it's a complete anomaly in this series, and considering where these tangents will go, that says a lot. And for the first foray into first person, and to a lesser extent the first full 3D game in the series, Survivor was a pioneer that has stuck with me since I first played it, and it's a game, despite its flaws, that I find infinitely charming. It's got that classic campy horror thing, which doesn't take itself seriously. And yeah, you might think that this is a weak way to draw a line under this video, but sometimes I have to give something the thumbs up on my rose-tinted glasses alone. Okay, also this.
Vincent? It's me, your mother.
My mother?
Vincent, please, listen to your mother. I want you to leave Umbrella. I want you to stop performing those terrible crimes and just come back home.
And if that doesn't warm the cockles of your cock, then we are on different paths in life. Which also means Code Veronica is next, and I mean, do I have to?
Jason!